What's up, everyone? Welcome to our final episode of our Build in Public series for 2025. Whoa, I almost said 2026. I'm already in the future. This has been such a blast. This year has been such a monumental, foundational year. For us as a company and as a product and as our building a design community, that we're just going to go over what we've been doing these past 2 weeks. This month, we've been a little quieter than normal, and that's because we've essentially been refactoring our entire architecture to kind of better match our long-term goals and our very high expectation goals for this product in general. So without further ado, let's get into it. We got a longer episode today, have so much to be thankful for and to talk about. First and foremost, if this is your first video, hey, go watch all the videos I recorded. There's like 11 or 12 of them at this point, talking about what this product is. This is a Build in Public series where I, Casey Baggs, the founder of Nurl, the design platform for the tabletop roleplay game industry. You may be like, design platform, what is that? Because it doesn't exist. It exists in every other industry except for the tabletop roleplay game. Not anymore. We are filling that gap, and I'm so stoked to be able to empower game designers to be able to create a communal product that essentially allows you to collaborate and contribute and have open source projects, real version control with branching, merging, and sending stuff off to production, print, etc. In a way that has never existed before in the tech industry also as well. Proudly all without AI. We don't need AI, not interested in AI. We are a human-made company. And outside of that, we're foundationally starting with the Mörk Borg community, and I'm very proud of that. Nurl will always have that foundation with the Mörk Borg designers. And next year, we'll move on to other design communities, slowly bridging, creating the larger and larger community that will eventually allow us to be the single source of truth for tabletop roleplay game design. So I'm so stoked about it. And so that's what we're doing. This is me walking you through what I've accomplished on a week-to-week basis and what we're doing. And our goal this year was to launch to our early adopter group. So we have almost 100 designers in a pool waiting on Sanctum to be released. Sanctum is our first product out of two, which will be an end-to-end platform, starting with design and collaboration, ending with play testing and analytics. And so Sanctum is that first entry point, the most important point, where you will essentially be able to create all your design material, like design your games, no matter if it's a custom system, whether you're extending and customizing other systems, or creating supplemental material. This is meant to be your full encompassing game design platform. So that's Sanctum. We didn't reach that goal because essentially how I approach development is I essentially experiment with an idea, see how far we could push it, and then validate, okay, this is a good idea. Let's keep moving forward, or let's pivot and try again. And I had to do that twice this year, still trying to figure out what Sanctum really is. Because this product doesn't exist right now. If you're a designer, you know that you're using like Google Sheets or Google Notes or OneNote or Notion or whatever, Google Docs. And that's just unacceptable to me. So we're creating a much more enriching environment that will allow you to have meta tabletop roleplay game tools for you to be able to do lower level stuff, but also create this big atmosphere for your game content that you've never had before, that will allow other people to contribute more seamlessly and allow you to create new game content even faster because it all links together. And so the with that, we were trying to figure out what is Sanctum, and it's becoming more actualized than it ever has. So the concept of Sanctum is stronger than ever, but to get there, we had to kind of experiment a little. And with that, I started building Sanctum on the super nerd side with the concept of let's under the hood start creating video game like schemas, so that way when we do our play testing app, it will have that engine, that game engine, if you will, that is created from the files. And all that was doing was just slowing down the Sanctum product at the end of the day. So now that we're close to getting the beta release out, I pretty much go through the code with a fine grain comb, or however that saying is. Think of it as whenever you have people over, you want to clean the house up a little bit, make sure it looks nice. I like to do that with my code and make sure all the areas are going to scale how we need them to, because once you let people in, it's very hard to pivot and make changes. So we need to make sure all the ducks are in a row regarding code. And for me, I have a high expectation regarding performance and elegance. And the code just wasn't performing how we needed to. It's just a little slower than what I like my applications to be in some areas. And so if you're wondering, Sanctum will be lightning fast. You're groomed through products that exist right now, especially now that we live in this world of AI slop. We have what I call fast food tech now, and it's subconsciously training us to think loading states are normal and slow environments which look pretty are normal, and that's unacceptable. That is absolutely not normal. That's an excuse for a product team to not do their due diligence on the performance side. So Sanctum, you'll notice there'll be little to no loading states anywhere in the app. It will be instant reads, what we call. And I'm very proud of that. And so that was this part of this last refactor, is saying, okay, this isn't scaling how we need it to be. Let's reapproach this how we know it needs to be. And now we're using super nerd design called Mörk, which is essentially what a lot of version control and content heavy architectures use. Not going to go into the low level computer science about that, but it just means that we have a lightning fast product now. So I'm very stoked at that. So I'm almost finished refactoring that, but it's been so good because within this refactor, it's allowed me to step back from the product and reapproach every aspect, because I'm rebuilding it, not rebuilding it, but essentially creating a new skeleton, if you will, and just wrapping the body contents that we've already had around that skeleton. And it's allowed me to have a fresh set of eyes on certain things and improve on things that I've always wanted to improve on, and I just didn't have the time for. And so along with this refactor, we're making some pretty good enhancements that are going to carry on into our long-term goals of this being a design social hub and collaboration hub, if you will. So without further ado, let's jump into where we are today. So you have your dashboard. There's nothing different really about this. You get still on an organization level, it all looks the same. You have your repositories. I did update some language here. So now you know this is your dashboard, and you have an overview section with all repositories. In the future, this is where your social feed is. So if I am friends with another designer and I'm interested in seeing all the stuff that they're working on, I will be able to follow them in the future And if they're doing anything that's public, you notice that our repositories here have permissions: public, private, internal. If they're doing any public work, or maybe I'm a part of their org and it's internal work, I'll be able to look in that feed and be like, oh, Brian Collins added a new supplement file to his vast Grim repository. And just fun stuff like that, that us as developers, we've had for like a decade or longer now. We're just catching up to that and giving that and empowering our design community, who's already tightly coupled and connected in that way, and just allowing you to have that experience that's better. Likewise, organizations can still create licenses. We've updated the badges just to be a little more visually easier to understand, like what state it's in. So we have a draft license that's in a draft, which means that we could do whatever we want. No one's going to be able to access this. And we have one that's published, which means we can actually do things with it. Likewise, you still have your settings where you can add as many people to your organization if you want, and they each have their permissions roles. So you have your owner, you have an admin role, who's essentially an owner minus one or two permission things. Then you have your member. This is your editor. So most people are going to add members. And then let's say that you want to add a designer who's working on some illustrations or whatever. You can add them to your org so they have access to your things just as a viewer, so they can't do anything. And we, of course, we have help boxes to kind of tell you what those settings are. And then likewise, we have guides. This just takes you to the Nurl site where we have our docs tab. So the biggest change in here is we now have slug-based routes. So whenever you go to an organization, or if you know what one's called, you'll be able to put that slug in and have a readable URL, which this is very important for once we allow you to start building in the social aspect. You'll be able to see other people's repositories if they're public, or if you're a part of it like internal. And that slug is going to be killer, especially if you want to share your repository URL with another designer, whomever. They'll be able to instantly read, oh, this is the Stockholm Cartel Mörk Borg repository, whatever. So that's a nice enhancement that we added that we didn't have before. Likewise, once you go into a repository, it's also a slugged up too. So now we have slugs from top to bottom, and we now support branches in the URL. So once another big thing that designers are missing out on right now is version control, what I call real version control. So right now you're having to make copies of documents. That's your version control, which is insane. We're adding software development level version control using the Git GIT API. That's just essentially like real version control created by the software industry, I think in like the 80s or something. But that will allow us to, we see we're on the main branch. Now we can work in these scoped workspaces that doesn't affect other work. So why that's important is we have our main branch, which is protected. Essentially, main is what you want to send to print. This is the final production ready stuff. Now, if I want to do things like, for example, create new features or files, I can create a new branch. I have one here called features or feat/spark features, where I've created a new file, and I've updated the system file. It's now named new system. And within my Spark file, we've updated it to where now you can go back and you have settings. We didn't have the settings to manage this file before. But essentially, this used to be called the Canvas file. We renamed it Spark just to make it a little easier to understand. This is a starting point, your idea board for concepting. And we've grouped these sections together. So whenever they're related, like player experience and core experience are a part of the experience bucket, They're grouped together, and we've removed some content. So it's not as many sections. We scoped them down to nine, which is ideal. But this is such a valuable starting point where people aren't really utilizing this type of feature because it just doesn't exist. We're giving you that thinking framework, asking you the right questions to help you determine what type of game you're creating, why are you creating it. Down here, we start getting on the business level of, can you afford to create it? What resources do you need for art and visuals, creative resources? How much is it going to cost? How much are you willing to spend on it? How much time are you willing to take? This is all about the Spark layout. So I'm super stoked about this. In next year, one of the goals is I'm going to start teaming up with some designers in our early adopter group. And we're going to be doing a series of videos where we're creating a game in real time. And so my hope is to partner with some designers and create a game based on the new suspense thriller / kind of horror movie, The Housemaid. I have a really cool idea, and we'll film that, how we're utilizing Sanctum to build out this product throughout time, starting with the Spark file. So I'm super stoked about that. So that's the Spark file. You notice that you still have your breadcrumb menu, so we can access any repo from this area, and we always know that we're on the Spark features branch. Okay, so let me go back, and then the last thing that we're currently working on, this is the final tune. You can see some ugly code here. Is our system file. So if you want to create a game system, a custom one, or extend another one, for example, a lot of people extend Mörk Borg system and either use it vanilla or fine tune it. This is where you do. You create a system file, and in the future, you'll go down to extensions. You'll select Mörk Borg. The cartel they're not a part of our early adopter group right now. Johan knows he's an open door policy. If he or anyone in the cartel are interested in being a part of our early adoption group, they're in. But what I'll do is we'll create a waiting room. And yes, that's named after Fugazi. And so I'll create some initial files anticipating that these organizations will eventually come into Nurl Sanctum. So they're unofficial, official files, if you will. So that way our designers will be able to extend Mörk Borg or Dark Fort or Death in Space or whatever. So essentially this is where you'll be able to see, there's Mörk Borg, there's Neon Lords of the Toxic Wasteland, another early adopter, Atom Vasta, Necro Nautilus, anything you want to extend that exists, and any of our early adopters can publish their own files. So essentially this is the magic that where right now we have a previous video where you see all this UI already built out. It's just going to be faster, much, much faster on this version. But this will allow you to, within a click in a millisecond, have all of the content, and you go to your mechanics and your resolution or whatever, and all of that stuff is going to be there, and you can customize it. Say, okay, I want to use Mörk Borg, but like Cyborg, for example, I want to add an additional class and I want to name it this, or I want to change the presence attribute to instead be this name. Like, you'll be able to do all that stuff in the system file because it's your engine. So the main thing that we've changed here is we've updated our mechanics section to, instead of being a dice, it's called resolution. Where you'll be able to choose a resolution. So I want to make sure that we're being able to cater to all types of core resolution methods for game engines. So You could choose between dice, playing cards, a physical thing like a Jenga, really good for horror games, or some type of resource spending. So this is going to get a major upgrade for the beta version. And of course, we'll have templates where if you want dice, you could just choose what type of set you want, and we'll set that up for you so you don't have to add individual dice. And then likewise, we have this new procedure section. This is your rules. So along with the game engine, you have your rules on how combat works, for example. I'm so excited about this because the Mörk Borg, they have spoken. And this is where I've always envisioned creating flow charts of your rules. So that way, when you export a rich text file, you could get a nice, oh my God, Texas just came out. Sorry about it. You could get a nice flowchart experience. And if you're really into graphic design, ironically, Johan just posted a video in the Mörk Borg server graphic design and typography channel where he goes and talks about his work with the Alien Evolved Edition, and he mentions that he wishes more people use flowcharts in there. Woo! The stars are aligning, folks. So Sanctum will naturally give you that user experience. We're trying to create a cohesive atmosphere to where games can share a common language, if you will, common usability experience. Foundationally starting with Swedish design, which you can agree with me or not, but I do feel is superior in the tabletop roleplay game space. But essentially being able to share that language so that way when you have a new player coming to the game, they're not so culture shocked from game A versus game B. So, and here, of course, you'll be able to assign licenses. So we have our license. We can't select any because we've already assigned license 2. So whenever if I were to publish this, which within our extensions, the section that's missing here will be a publishing section to where I can publish this file. It would allow other people, as long as the file, as long as the repository is public, this is a public repository, it will allow anyone to be able to install or extend this file in their system file. And along with that, they'll automatically inherit the license we assign to it. So just think of how powerful all of this is. Right now, all of this stuff is having to do manually, and we're streamlining that process in a way to where when this is complete, you'll be able to export a rich text file that will include the license, copyright stuff, license assets. So Mörk Borg, for example, compatible with Mörk Borg will automatically be shipped. Flow charts, all of that stuff. I mean, this is some massively groundbreaking stuff that we're going to be empowering the tabletop roleplay game design community with, and I'm just so excited about it. But of course, it's a lot of things. So which is why it's taking longer than I anticipated, but it's all for good reasons. So lastly, we have history. We have buffed up the history tab. This is your commits. This is the snapshots that we take under the hood. So more about real version control. And we're essentially, I've updated this to be grouped by date. So you could tell I've been playing around in this repository for a minute. We have lots of snapshots that shows your unique ID. We call this a SHA, but you know who did what, when, and what they did. And in the future, you'll be able to click on this and see a before and after. And you can manage your branches. We tell you which one is yours versus all. This will come into play the bigger your team gets, and hopefully you get a big team. And then, of course, your settings. Nothing has changed here. Permissions are much cleaner because everything's faster. So that's where we left in 2026. When we started, none of this existed. And by the end, I think by the end of this year, man, what a monumental accomplishment that we've had. So, all that to say is I'm so thankful, first and foremost, for the Mörk Borg community for allowing me to post these videos and talk about them regarding this is not a book that we're trying to produce. It's not a game. The only people that are getting things out of this, like tangibly, are game designers. But our hope is to bridge that gap between designers and players. So if players are willing to support what we're doing, it's going to empower their designers that they love to follow even more so, and that's going to result in better games being developed long term. So I'm super stoked about that. We're hopefully going to do some type of crowdfunding this next year. I've been paying for a lot of stuff out of pocket, and hopefully we can keep the lights on this next year, anticipating as we bring people in, the costs for running this thing is going to start increasing. And so hopefully we see some good contributions. We're going to be partnering with some actual illustrators and designers, getting some merch. So players, if they are willing to help crowdfund us, will at least get something that they're proud of out of it. Lastly, I just want to thank definitely in the Mörk Borg community, Stockholm Cartel, Johan and Pelle, for allowing me to talk to them and just ask them questions and stuff. And then most importantly, our massive list of early adopters and beta users. I'm going to run through, this isn't everyone. The list is like almost 100 people, but from the beginning, when we had no concept, there was a core group of people that believed in the vision. And so massive thanks to Brian Collin, Vasgrim, Creature Curations. You were the first. Without you, this wouldn't be possible. You were the spark that lit the forest fire. John Baltisberger, same thing. Number 2, Brian Shutter from Neon Lords of the Toxic Wasteland. Same thing. Pavo, Corpborg, Helltime Storytelling. Massive thank you. All the way from Poland. My heart is so warm. Adam Vasson, Will Jotes from Brain Trust, the designer's favorite designer. You guys' support means everything to me. Matt Mislinski from Chainsaw, Sasha from Slightly Reckless Games, Erica from Ragnaborg, Alex from Toonmorg, Tyler, Josh from Rivethead Games, the work you produce, amazing. Alex and Sabrina from Gollum Productions, Ravaged by Storms, go support them. Tommy Sunsenauer, man, the stuff you produce, oh, it's so good. Stephen King, that guy is. Justin Sirios from Severed Books, The Sickest Witch. If you have not checked out that game, boy, you should check it out. Okay, I'm running out of time. Oh my gosh, there's so many people to list. Richard from Hellspawn. I'm just going to run through some Discord names because there's so many at this point. Axon, Christian Eichhorn, thank you so much. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. Unit 6, thank you for everything you've done. Unit, you're my boy, Blue. I can't wait to work with you further in the future. Same thing, In-Game Greg, Ronan, Rhinock, Matt Domino, Daniel H. from Dug In Throat Divided, El Chupalabras. I always want to say Chupacabra. El Chupalabras from Cocotona. Truth Rod, Static Burn, Gnome Lackey, Wired from Run from the Dark. Oh my gosh, AC Rabbit's Porkmark, Dungeon and Hammers, Beefy Shotgun Wizards, Jadra, The New Recluse, check it out. Up B, 3 Weeks in the Streets, Jert from Ink Vein. Oh my gosh, there's so many. I hope there's so many more. I can't. I'd be here all day, but I'm so thankful once again, Johan and the Stockholm Cartel in general are not a part of our early adopter group. Just to be clear, we are doing things on behalf of them. And so, anticipating, but if you are a member of the cartel and you are a game designer, or you're a representative that at least is connected and want to get in to start establishing your organization account, just hit me up. I am more than happy to add you to the list. Okay, that's it. Super long one. Thank you for everything, for a great 2025. And here's to 2026. Boing.